Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fandomology, where fandoms collide. And tonight's going to be a bit of a different stream. See, as you've probably seen in the title, we're going to be talking about our favorite memories of Halloween. But what's going to be different about this stream is that I'm not actually going to be part of it. I'm going to be just sitting back and watching the stream tonight, and I'm going to be handing off the keys to two very good friends of mine who were actually gracious enough to let me co-host on their channel a couple weeks ago, where we talked about the things that we liked about the Ahsoka show, which I hope you guys enjoyed that stream. That's right. Tonight's Fandomology stream is going to be hosted by Coach and Matt Rissman of Echo Base Network. So sit back, relax, make sure to treat Coach and Matt Rissman the same way that you would treat me, and let's have some fun.
Thank you for that intro, Master Paul, and hello, everyone. Ordinarily, this is where I would say we are and you are Echo Base Network, but let's see, how does Master Paul do it? Oh, yeah, he says, hello, everyone, and welcome to Fandomology, where fandoms collide. And tonight we're going to be having sort of a mishmash, you could say, of a typical Fandomology stream mixed with some Echo Base Network that you all know and love. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my trusty sidekick and co-host, Mr. Moff Rissman. How you doing tonight?
Hello there. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing very well, and we've already got our first comment in here, Mr. Black Dragon, who is my bodyguard, saying, no, I won't.
I think reacting to Paul saying, treat us well. Treat us well. Absolutely. I don't know how to take that.
And of course, Mr. Matt Cave, who was also there for that Ahsoka show. And that was really a fun show. You did such a good job of hosting that and providing a platform for those that enjoyed that show.
Oh, I was glad to have you all there, and I was super nervous. I don't know why. I was super nervous about that stream, but I thought it went real well, and it was great to talk some positivity about that.
Absolutely. And I got to say, Master Paul especially did a great job with that song that he sang.
Yes, I'm sure you would think so.
Yes. So tonight we're going to talk. I know we've been branching away somewhat from Star Wars after the Ahsoka show just completely crapped the bed as far as the ending goes, but we're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars tonight, specifically our favorite Star Wars related Halloween memories. And so whoever's in the chat, if you want to share some Star Wars related Halloween memories, please do, and we will check them out. But Mr. Rissman, do you have any Star Wars related memories?
You know, I distinctly remember being Darth Vader for Halloween many times, like many years in a row. At my age, you know, when I was really into trick-or-treating, obviously it would have been very popular to do something original trilogy. So I think I was Darth Vader more than once, and then I think I was a Stormtrooper a couple of times until I finally outgrew those costumes, and that was that. So I don't know. I for me, I see Black Dragon saying something similar in the chat. I never was big into Halloween trick-or-treating. I much preferred to stay home and give out the candy, right? I was more interested to see what other folks were dressing as than necessarily going out myself. But I remember I wore that Darth Vader costume out for several years.
Yeah, I've done Darth Vader once myself. In fact, I remember, I want to say back in 2006, I did Darth Vader and actually did Halloween at Disney World.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we were staying at the Fort Wilderness campground, and they were doing their annual Halloween sort of trick-or-treat thing around the campers, and I dressed up as Darth Vader. Sadly, I didn't have a lightsaber, though, even though I really wanted one.
Yeah, I was watching earlier today. They did their one of my channels that I follow, a theme park channel. They were there doing the golf cart thing. They do the golf cart floats all dressed up They dress up the golf carts in themes and they parade them all down the road. So that was earlier today. But yeah, Fort Wilderness is quite something. It's gotten so popular now they don't let people in unless they're staying there. It used to be very popular for people to come and visit, just check out the decorations and all that. But now this year they said, nope, you got to be staying here to be able to see this stuff. So.
And I want to say hello to a special lady in the chat, Miss Virginia Bowers, who says, I never dressed up as Star Wars, but my boyfriend let me take his lightsaber to his car, and I played with it for a few minutes with nobody watching, and it was awesome. Well, it sounds like you have a very cool boyfriend, Miss Bowers. And of course, I knew this guy would show up the moment
Phil McCracken always
appeared, saying, wow, how shiny Matt Risman is.
I shined it up just for you, Phil. Literally about 30 minutes ago, we went through the process. So you should be quite happy. Should be quite happy with that.
Let's see. Matt Cave earlier had his own story. He says, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I went as Admiral Akbar in one of those plastic masks. Well, it turns out you really can't see so good in those, and I fell on my face. The craziest part, the house that I fell at would have ended up being the house my family moved into years later. Wow.
Matt Cave, it sounds like that mask was a trap.
Sorry,
I couldn't resist.
Mysterious ways. And Black Dragon says Halloween was my mother's favorite holiday. She passed on October 29th. My brother passed on November 1st. I hate Halloween.
I can see
Sorry to hear that, Black Dragon. And of course, our thoughts and prayers are with you during this time of remembrance.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So here's an interesting question for everyone. What would y'all say your favorite Halloween candy is?
Ooh, this is so tough. Oh, I'm going to go with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I don't know. I was going to pick candy corn, but candy corn was so divisive. So I'm going to stay away from candy corn. I'm going to go with the Reese's Cup.
Yeah, for me, candy corn, it's one of those things that either you love it or you hate it. And yet I find myself honestly somewhere in the middle. I'll eat it if it's there, but it's not something I go out of my way to have. Miss Bowers here says that her favorite is Kit Kat.
Oh, it's a good one.
I think for me, you can't go wrong with just the original Hershey bar, like the little fun-sized ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Twizzlers, Matt Cave. Twizzlers is another weakness. Twizzlers, Skittles. I like too much candy, I guess. I don't eat it anymore, but I like too much candy. Hershey Kisses. Hershey Kisses always worked good for Halloween because you could just grab a handful and toss them in, right? And so that was good.
Yes, Hershey Kisses are always really good. Another one that I like getting, there was one, again, kind of keeping it on Hershey's. Have you ever seen like the really tiny, like single Hershey square things that are like in the variety bag and you get the normal chocolate, the dark chocolate? Those are the best things ever.
Yes.
And apparently you have a fan with Twizzlers.
Again, Twizzlers is one of those where I know quite a few folks who are like, I hate Twizzlers. They don't taste like anything, blah, 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 this, that. It's like, how could you hate Twizzlers? I love Twizzlers. But, to each their own.
And it looks like we have another guest that has joined us in the panel. I believe I've talked to this guy at least once or twice before, and I don't know, I think you and I even appeared on his channel one time, but let's bring him in, Mr. Phil McCracken.
Oh, no, I knew it.
Look who it is. It's Matt.
Indeed, look who it is. How are you, Phil?
Doing okay. I'm feeling slightly better, but I was shined by the greatness of the Matt Risman, man. I don't know what this divine glow you have, but you know what? Angels should be jealous of it. Angels should be jealous of it.
I'll never reveal my secret, Phil. Never.
And this coach here, what happened to your Alabama accent?
Well, it's funny you asked that because I actually recently moved to Virginia. That's right. Any of my students that are watching right now, that's not the real coach that's been teaching you. That is an alien that has assumed my shape. I'm actually in Virginia now, and I've been here so long that I've swapped out the Alabama accent for a Virginia accent. And breathing that Virginia hair has also kind of brought some of my hair back.
Maybe I should move to Virginia.
But if you did that, Matt, we'd miss your shininess.
It's very true. Very true.
And Matt Cave says it's a Clone War. That's right. Begun the Clone War has. So, Phil, we're talking about Halloween and, of course, specifically Star Wars related Halloween stuff. And I'm wondering if you've got any good Star Wars Halloween stories.
Well, I could remember going out one time as a Star Wars character. I went out as Darth Vader. So I must have been about 9 years old. And yeah, man, I felt okay. Though, if anybody can describe about that plastic mask that you used to get on Halloween with your outfit, yeah, they were very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I would say that was the last year that I wore a costume that had the plastic mask. So anytime after that, I use I don't like using the term makeup because it's not makeup. Grease paint. That's what it is. Grease paint. So the following year, I went out as Kiss. As a member, Kiss was four of my friends. And then the following year after that, I had a Grim Reaper outfit. So, yeah. I was glad to get away from that plastic mask, man. Irritated. I remember the year before the Darth Vader, I had a Spider-Man. And it also had the plastic mask.
Yeah,
So,
I hated those. Oh, those plastic masks.
I think that was, let's see, 1980. Around 1980. So. But Halloween, it seems like in the last couple of years, there was a period of time, I would say, like in the 90s, that Halloween kind of faded. You know, some people, kids weren't going out as much, at least in my area. Kids weren't going out and people weren't handing out candy. And I guess that was all the after effect of people messing with people's candy. And parents would be more like, it's better to do it at home and, give candy at home as opposed to going out trick or treating. But it's nice to see it seems to pick back up. So that's a good thing. So.
Well, I think people decided they might have missed it right after the things that happened the past few years when it wasn't really possible to do. I think people decided, hey, I kind of like that. Kind of like going out and doing that stuff. So.
The idea of Halloween, the commercial one, but there's a different form of Halloween that's technically on the day of Halloween, but Halloween as we know it, I think should be enjoyable. Should be for kids. But I will tell you this: when I took my kids out for Halloween, I didn't go out there without a bag for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to go out there and just, my kids got their candy. But hey, I called it the parents' tax. I also went trick or treating too. So
right on. I mean,
it was fun.
Who's going to deny free candy?
Can't deny free candy. So, but yeah, I think it was better when I was younger because I seemed to got more stuff at Halloween from people. You would go to one house, somebody would actually give out candy, apples or caramel apples, your choice. Then there were some people, instead of giving out candy, they were giving out soda, so you got a can of soda. So, that was enjoyable. So, and you always knew what house gave out the good candy, but you got people call them the fun size. When I was a kid, it was called the trial size. Little piece of candy, not the whole bar. But there were some people that would actually give the giant bar candy. So, and there were the houses you definitely wanted to make sure you hit. I used to be able to, from the time I was about 9 years old to the time I was about 13, I used to be able to go 2 or 3 hours trick or treating and fill up 2 pillowcases full of candy. So I technically had enough candy, technically lasting from Halloween almost before Christmas.
Yeah, that's a lot of candy.
A lot of candy, man. A lot of candy. So
Here's an interesting story here. Miss Bowers here says, a family I know decided to give the option of candy or a potato, and they gave out more potatoes to kids than they did candy.
That's a weird.
Is that so?
That's a
so is
weird
it
one.
where the can is it where the potato's supposed to be the trick, and the candy's supposed to be the treat?
or maybe where she's at, people love baked potatoes. You know, what can you say? I don't know. That would be a toss up. I have to admit, if somebody was to give me a potato as opposed to a candy, I like baked potatoes. So what can I say?
I would have taken the candy.
Mm.
I would have
Well,
taken the
now,
candy every time.
There wouldn't be.
And I would have just been like, give me both, please. I love candy and baked potatoes.
Potato, but
It
you can't
wouldn't
even.
be a debate if it came down to sweet potatoes, because I love sweet potatoes, baked sweet potatoes overall. So I would be if somebody was handing out baked sweet potato, a sweet potato, I would be taking it. I'll be taking it. Because you got to remember, everywhere else is giving out you candy.
Yeah, but I guess the question is, surely the potato wasn't already baked, right? I'm picturing it was just a raw. Was it already a baked
I think
potato?
it was
or
probably
was it just
raw.
a raw potato.
Probably raw.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. But I mean, I always hear strange things of what people give out. Back in my day, it was safe to bake cookies, and people baked cookies and gave them out. I wouldn't be doing that today, but
Well, and sadly, we went through a period in my youth where the candy was getting tampered with, right?
Yeah,
It was a couple of
crazy
years
stuff.
before you
Man.
just couldn't-
Why
remember that.
somebody want to put stuff into someone's candy was beyond me. But yeah. And after that, like I said, I think the after effect, there was a few years after that, especially I can remember early 90s, people weren't handing candy out. Parents would have a Halloween party at home, but as far as taking the kids out for trick or treating, that for a good couple of years there was nothing.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, it's a holiday, commercialized holiday for kids. That's pretty much what Halloween is. So I knew people that weren't allowed to celebrate Halloween.
Yep, me too.
I do too. And real quick,
someone's lurking.
Oh no! well, since I'm coach, and I'm the one that's hosting this stream, this has to be Nick. So apparently, I have upgraded myself somehow.
I think it may be your doppelganger, because if it was Nick, I think he would be here on Nick's account.
The only thing I would say there, Coach, is you need to. You lost your cherryness in your cheeks, man. Coach has. When he was the Alabama coach, has some, rosy cheeks. Yours ain't rosy.
It's a little colder in Virginia. My cheeks just kind of lost their rosiness from being colder.
I told you before the stream started, just smack yourself a couple times in your cheeks, get a little redness going.
Philly
You're going to impersonate Coach, man. You got to do it right.
He lost the redness, but he gained the hair. I think that's a pretty good.
Okay,
exactly. Breathing that beautiful Virginia air will do that to you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Now, do you wear them little shorts like Coach does?
Yep.
I mean, sometimes.
No.
Of course, I was going to go there
when you need it. Oh.
Black Dragon says the reason it snows in October is because morons put Christmas decorations early. You know who you are.
Yeah, my Ace Hardware store here has the blow-up Santa already for sale. Who wants to buy a blow-up Santa in October? Goodness sake.
All the Lowe's stores around me have already been putting up their Christmas stuff.
Too early.
By the way, while you guys were talking about your experiences with Halloween, I was looking at Master Paul's controls here, and he's got some very interesting clips that I think would make very good super chat clips, like this one, for example.
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship? I said, what does God need with a starship?
Jim, what are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
What an awful movie. So
What a
bad.
great clip from a great
So
movie.
That is the worst Star Trek
Don't
movie
judge
ever
Justice
made.
for Star Trek 5.
Oh,
Yes, in fact, I believe Master Paul was at one point a big champion of hashtag Justice for Star Trek 5, along with you, Phil.
You also watched Caddyshack 2.
I would rather watch Caddyshack 2 any day than
Do you
Star
hear
Trek
that?
5.
Do you hear that? Caddyshack 2 fan right there.
Well, compared to Star Trek 5, it's a very easy answer.
Okay. Let's give. We all know the reasons why 5 bombed. There was a writer's strike. They didn't want to delay the movie. He didn't have the writers. He kept insisting on going where maybe that movie should have been delayed to after the writer's strike.
Or they should have just gone right to Star Trek 6 and just not done it at all.
But there were some great lines like, I need my pain.
Ugh.
Or how can you not like, why does God need a starship?
And Black Dragon here says that Star Trek Nemesis is worse.
Yeah,
Worse.
Nemesis is probably for me the worst, if you want to call it Star Trek movie.
I might could go with him on that, right? That was a really bad Star Trek. That was a really bad Star Trek movie.
Whoever told the guy that played Riker to shave his beard.
Oh, he looks so bad.
That right there just ruined the movie for me. You know, the whole purpose of him having the beard after season 1 because he looked 10 times better with the beard. You know,
yeah, Nemesis.
Looks play a great part in people's eye candy.
I agree, and I know. I hope they do another movie. Patrick Stewart's recently said he'd like to do another movie.
I think that would be cool to see, as good as Star Trek Picard was.
I'm with you. If they would hurry up, he's not getting any younger. If he wants to make another movie,
that is true.
And get it done.
So, switching from Star Trek to Star Wars for a second, like I said, Echo Base Network has been switching away from Star Wars content.
Expanded, Coach. We call it expanded. We call it expanded, Coach. Expanded.
You're right. Expanding. But today is an important anniversary for Star Wars that we simply cannot ignore, because today, in 2011, was the day that George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney. And what can I say that hasn't already been said? It's been just a flood of crap ever since, with a few good moments in there. Luke coming back in The Mandalorian, you cannot deny that when that was happening, that was a good moment. And of course, it was so big for our channel too, because we made that amazing video of people's reactions to Luke Skywalker coming back, and it got so big, even Mark Hamill retweeted it.
It was good bait that suckered people in. They say, you think you were going to get more Luke? No.
Well, but that's not true, Phil. They managed to ruin it in Book of Boba Fett, so we did get more Luke. Wasn't exactly the kind further we wanted.
I will be honest. After Obi-Wan Kenobi season 1 or whatever, hopefully they're not making this season 2, but if season 1, that was enough for me. First of all, I totally disagree in making a second encounter with Darth Vader. There should have been only that one encounter on the Death Star with Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. That should have been it.
I 100% agree with that.
And if they ever were to do something right, they should have included the fight that CGI people redid of that fight. I don't know if you ever seen it. It's called what is it, SC-38 or something like that.
Yep.
That fight should be put in the Star Wars. Call it the special edition. That was awesome what they did there.
Yeah, they did a good job with that.
But
they did do a good job. But at the same time, the original trilogy has already been messed with enough, and I think it should just be left alone at this point.
I like special editions. I have the original and the special editions, but I do like the special editions.
I like the special editions too, but nothing beats the originals.
Well, you know, as they say, there's always more footage somewhere, and if somebody's smart, they'll end up putting it in there and say these are the extended special editions.
Well,
All right, all right. I
think
made 25. I made it 25 minutes.
you
I'm breaking
can't keep
character.
going with the voice.
No, you can't.
I can't keep doing the voice.
No.
All right, I'm going back to who I usually am. Give me a
Who
second.
are you?
But Phil, I mean, as far as the special editions go, George wanted those special editions, right?
He
was
did.
very, very adamant about, in so much as he defied anyone to ever show the original versions again. So whether we prefer them or not,
like I said, that Cleed Virginia Air.
He actually did it. I remember when the special editions came out, and then he redid it with 3D. There were some movie theaters had them in 3D.
Yes, that is
so
correct.
That is a new experience. Seeing the Battle Yavin in 3D, I couldn't be beat.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Matt
no.
Cave said that TMZ reported that Coach will be doing a full live stream dressed as Ray. Paparazzi have sent exclusive leaked photos.
Oh no.
Oh no. And thank you, Virginia. I'm glad you were impressed.
So, but Halloween, what can I say? One of my favorite holidays that I don't get dressed up anymore. So, but I still like Halloween. Halloween kicks everything off. It's the holiday that kicks everything off.
Well, now it's the holiday that everyone wants to zoom past, right? So
there you go.
But it used to be the start of the holiday season, right? In the right way, not in the rushed way.
Right.
And I think in modern era, with all the holidays, they have to start Halloween in September.
Right.
I don't understand that. We got 2 weeks before the holiday. I can understand that. Now here Halloween's going to be done tomorrow, and already the next day you can bet your dollar they're already doing Thanksgiving stuff. If not, they're already doing it now. Then not even a week after Halloween, Thanksgiving, by that Sunday, they're already doing Christmas.
I don't know about y'all's way, but around here we seem to skip Thanksgiving now, right? It's like it goes directly from Halloween to Christmas. It's like, what even happened at Thanksgiving?
I am admittedly one of those people that likes to go pretty much from Halloween to Christmas. Like I start listening to Christmas music November 1st.
Oh,
not to take away from the importance of Thanksgiving, but to me Thanksgiving is like a stepstone to Christmas. Besides, who appears at the end of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
Santa.
Exactly.
But at least that's happening at the end. I mean, I can see that, right? The end of that parade signals sort of the start of
it's funny that you mentioned Macy's parade, because there was one year that as a parent, it was God sent. And that was where we watch Barney get destroyed. Every parent that year was probably celebrating why every kid was just watching in horror as Barney deflated.
That was so fun. That was so funny.
Yeah, that.
Do you remember Barney, Paul?
I do remember Barney. Yes, I honestly never really liked it.
I had this, I'm going to tell you this. I used to take my kids to, Disney on Ice. And then they had this one they were advertising, Barney on Ice.
Oh, no.
And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it, but my kids want to. So I took my kids and I took my 2 nephews and we went to go see Barney on Ice. And you want to know something, Paul? Get shocked. You ready to get shocked, Matt? Yes. Barney wasn't on ice. What they did was they just put the basketball floor out and they just set everything on the basketball floor. There was no ice. He wasn't skating around. He wasn't doing anything. Yeah. So, yeah.
That sounds cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. I would never. No.
My take on Halloween, now that, of course, I'm speaking as myself, we in my family admittedly never were one of those that celebrated Halloween. I mean, we did trick-or-treating once or twice, but once my younger siblings, Michael and Morgan, were born, they were born on Halloween, and so that
wow.
day primarily became about their birthday, which is funny because my birthday is November 1st, the
I was
day
gonna say, you
after.
all had the same birthdays all around each other.
Exactly. Jonathan's the outlier because his birthday is August 6th. But pretty much once Michael and Morgan came around, October 31st was primarily about them. Now, we still did some Halloween type stuff because that's what Michael and Morgan wanted to do, but it was never 100% about Halloween for me and my family. Oh, and side note, that story that I said under character as coach about dressing up as Darth Vader at Fort Wilderness, that was real. The only thing I didn't mention was that hey Phil, he says, so Paul is the gray-ups of the group. Lol, JK. I hope you saw when I was actually in character as coach and not, as I am now, where I'm wearing coach's shirt, but I'm me.
Do you know who
But
you are?
yes, my name is
Who are
Paul.
you?
I am Paul of Fandomology.
He's having a crisis of identity.
You,
I mean,
you sure? I'm waiting for you to break apart and Coach emerges out from behind you. Breaks you up like a doll and comes out.
It's funny you say that, Phil. I was legitimately considering turning my camera off and then switching voices between my coach voice and my normal voice and be like I was storming into the room and be like, hey, what are you doing here, coach? Get out of my room. No, sorry. I thought this was my stream.
You know what would have been better is if you would have took clips of Coach and then you're talking, but it's Coach's image we're seeing on the screen.
I mean, I could have done that like this, but I wanted to go all out and actually buy the shirt, buy a Discmania hat, which I actually got a size too small, and and just go all out with it.
Well, there's probably someone that got his feelings hurt, and he's probably known as Nick because there's no Nick.
Nick?
Well, now
I told
Paul
Nick
and I
about this in
discussed it.
advance.
Yeah, Paul and I discussed it, and I said, I'm not dressing up as Nick. And he said, No.
Your wardrobe is nowhere near what Nick wears. Nowhere near.
Well, hold on a second, Matt. Give me your absolute best. Mom, can I have some pizza rolls?
Ma, bring me the pizza rolls.
We love you, Nick. Just it's all for fun.
That was so good.
And Matt Cave says, is it me or does Paul's avatar make him look like Randy Orton from WWE?
Yes.
I mean, I can kind of see it. Crit made this for me with his AI filters that he was into at the time. And Virginia says, hat size too small or head too big. It's a small medium size, what it is. So I think if I didn't have as much hair, it would fit a little bit better.
I just want to say that image again. Throw it up there, please, for a moment. That doesn't look like you, Paul. That looks like Cash Money with hair.
You know what it does? Every time
it does.
That's what I thought it was at first, man. I thought that was Cash Money with hair.
But the chin is too small. The chin would need to be a little bit more.
It needs a bigger chin. That's all.
Yes.
The chin.
That is true. And he needs to have a badge that says I only play on hard mode.
Yes. And he never pays full price for the game. I mean, there's so many different things, so many different taglines.
No, don't tell him a game's $70.
All jokes, Cash. We love you.
You sure about that?
Are you sure about that, Phil?
I'm positive.
You got him in your tagline.
I'm selective in the persons I love.
Fair enough. So let's see. So, like I said, this coming Wednesday is my birthday. So I will not be streaming anything on Tuesday or Wednesday because I got to go to bed early Tuesday to get up at 6 a.m. and leave to go to Pennsylvania because we're going to be visiting, me and Mom the Martin Guitar Factory, which is my favorite brand of guitar ever.
Where in Pennsylvania are you going to?
Nazareth, Pennsylvania.
So you're going to go past me, and you're going to, yeah, I see how it is now.
Oh no, I screwed up.
Yes, you did. Don't worry, I can find you in Nazareth.
You know what? Please do.
And you'll never know it's me.
I mean, I've never seen your face.
You know,
But here's the thing. The moment I hear your voice, though.
Well, see, I would be smart because you'll be going into a facility, and I can always go up to someone and say, "Can you please page this individual and say this name right here?" So you'll hear a different individual calling for you, Paul, but be using Bill McCracken.
Huh.
And it might change it and say, "Ooh, it's your friend, Pat McGroin."
So bad.
Is your girlfriend going up with you to Nazareth, Pennsylvania?
She is not. This is just me and Mom.
Just your mom.
Me and Virginia had our day yesterday,
Oh,
which was a very fun day, by the way.
Virginia from Virginia. I like that.
Yes. Phil says, so Wednesday Paul can get a senior citizen discount. I'm not that old. I'm turning 29.
Let's face
Are you going to buy or are you just going to look?
Pretty much going to look and get a tour of the factory. I wish I could buy it, but I'm saving up for Christmas.
All right. Good enough.
Do you know who's famous from Nazareth?
Who?
Pennsylvania?
Who?
You don't know? You never heard of Mario Andretti? What type of person are you?
Oh, okay. I mean, I'd heard the name and knew he was a
Yes,
famous racing
Nazareth.
guy, but never knew exactly.
Yep. I think they have a museum, and I suggest that since you're up there in Nazareth, you should go and look at it.
Huh.
Virginia says, my disaster response team always called me V squared, Phil.
B squared.
V.
V squared.
B squared.
V.
I got you. Okay. Now, I'm just curious, Paul, does she have the accent that you don't have?
Whether she does or doesn't, I haven't noticed yet. I don't know what the Virginia accent sounds like because I've grown up around it. Okay?
You have
That's like
you draw the words out when you're Southern. You draw the words. Does she say, I reckon? Wish you could.
Phil, why do you know all this, yet you're not a Southern guy? You're in
Come on
Delaware.
now.
He's a
We're gonna
Yankee.
have this
He's a
argument
Yankee.
again.
He is a Yankee. He is absolutely a Yankee.
We know.
That is such an insult.
You're only insulted because you know it's true. Matt Cave says, was Halloween part of your run of movies to watch? It might have been, but I've kind of been putting all scary movies on the back burner because I don't do scary movies.
I don't normally either.
Ask Crit. I was jumping out of my seat at Alien.
I wanted Paul to see that one. What they call Pinhead? The guy with all the pins in his face.
Hellraiser.
I want to get Paul to watch that.
Oof.
And Virginia says, I've been told by many people I do not have an accent. Sorry to disappoint.
What type of Virginians are you?
Well, she's from the middle of Virginia originally, where I'm from the Shenandoah Valley.
I know people from the Tidewater, and they have like an English accent.
Mm-hmm.
They actually sound like they're English, and you're like, "Where are you from?" Oh, Virginia. But you don't sound like it. You sound like you're from England. But the whole area, it's on the Delmarva Peninsula. They swear to you, they sound like they're from Britain. British accent.
Well, Paul, it's too bad you're not from West Virginia because then you could.
They don't. That state doesn't.
That is true.
That's an illegal state with an awful song.
Matt Cave says, my tradition is to rewatch the Halloween episodes of The Real Ghostbusters. That cartoon still holds up. Yeah. I have never heard of that, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to watch a cartoon, it's the Peanuts and it's the Great Pumpkin.
Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, yeah.
Yep.
Right.
That's a must for Halloween. Everything else, no. Maybe one of the Scooby Doo Halloween specials, but that's it.
I mean, the only Halloween stuff I was watching was some of the spookier episodes of Star Trek to prepare for that stream that I tried to do Saturday, talking about all the times that Star Trek went scary.
Mm.
Oh,
So-
and I'll throw this out to you, Paul. 5 years old on TV. Paul Linden, Halloween special. Kiss was on there.
Paul Linden Halloween special.
Yes, 1976. I was 5 years old. Kiss was on the Halloween special. Had even the witch from The Wizard of Oz. I don't even know if you know who Paul Linden is.
I know who Paul Linden is.
Yeah, of
but
course
Paul
you
probably
do, but Paul did.
No.
He was the original guy you would find in the center square. He's the original one in there on Tic-Tac-Toe show, but he also was a great comedian. He was the voice of the rat, I think, in Charlotte's Web, if you ever saw the cartoon.
I did. I loved it.
Yeah, that voice, that's him. So, but yeah, he had a Halloween special. It ran for an hour, and yeah, he had some people on there for the Halloween special, and Kiss was one of them.
Wow.
That was a great Halloween. So we had that cool stuff growing up, Matt, didn't we? That's when it disappeared. You know?
We did, because there was so little. I mean, what? There was the 3 channels, so they had to do
That's it.
something.
And you didn't count UHF as a channel.
And the most amazing thing is, if you missed it, you missed it. Right?
That's it. There was no
It didn't come
replay,
around
no
again.
nothing.
It's
And
just
they didn't
gone.
have a VCR.
That was even before DVR, right?
Oh yeah,
Way before.
way before.
Put it this way, Paul. You ever heard of rabbit ears?
Yes, I have
Okay.
seen them.
Well, it was a glorified thing for most TVs. You know, you had an antenna outside and rabbit ears to help to get the signal in. And it was a privilege and an honor if you were tasked that night to be the remote control, because you didn't have remote control. We had to physically turn the knobs to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're turning the child, whoever had that job that night, that was the honor roll, you know.
That's right.
We didn't have remote control. And some people didn't even have color TVs. They still had black and white.
And you knew it was on from the TV guide.
There you go. I don't even know if the TV guide even exists anymore. But
Matt Cave says, I have so many of the classic TV specials on VHS. My dad and I would record everything. Wow. Anonymous says VCR was our DVR. Yeah, I remember there used to be like this VHS that we had of 4 different movies. It was Angels in the Outfield, Little Giants, The Little Rascals, and Dragon World.
Wow, that's quite a diverse collection of movies.
You know, there were some unfortunate people that bought the competition and didn't buy a VCR. What were they called? The other little
you know who that
Laserdisc
was? That was my father. He brought a Betamax.
Betamax, there you are.
One day he came home from work. He came
tape
home
was
from
half
work
the
with the
size.
Betamax, and I'm like, what is this? And he's like, it was a superior quality to VHS, but he brought home a Betamax, and he's like, this is for recording things, and we were so fascinated. It had the pop-up deck, and the cassettes were smaller, and so for a long time there, it was only, well, I guess it wasn't. Yeah, there was only Betamax, because that's what they used in all the big cameras. All the big cameras used Betamax.
Yep. Yeah, you had a Betamax. Then VCRs came out, and then that beat them out.
Yep.
And then you had what they call Laserdisc. You even could get the movies were on Laserdisc, and the Laserdiscs were big as a record. You know.
Yeah, we never had a Laserdisc player. We skipped Laserdisc.
But you'd be surprised how many people had a Betamax. You know, I didn't have a Betamax. We went from nothing to VCR. That's was ours. Yep.
Yeah,
that was the JC Penney, and it was a Magnavox VCR.
We had a Sony. Back then, was pretty much, it was almost exclusively Sony. Betamax was Sony's thing. But yeah, we had to keep with it, because once we started, we didn't switch over to VHS. We had it was a very long time before we actually got a VHS player, because ultimately they did away with Betamax. So if you wanted to rent anything, you had to have a VHS.
You used to go to most of the places for movies. This was before Blockbuster. You had to go to the record stores because they were the ones selling the VCRs, the Betamax, and the Laserdisc. Sam Goody.
Yep.
Wow. I miss the movie rental place that we had here in my town. It wasn't Blockbuster. It was like a one-off mom and pop sort of thing. I can't remember what it was called, but I distinctly remember not only did they do movies, they also did games, and they also gave out free of the small little bags that are about that big around and that tall, bags of popcorn.
The popcorn, yeah.
And that popcorn was the best popcorn.
I'm not a fan of microwave popcorn. I still think putting in an old kettle and you put a little oil, throw your popcorn in there, pop it that way, or air popper. But I still like Jiffy Pop.
Oh, you can't
Jiffy
beat
Pop was awesome.
Yeah, my favorite type of popcorn to have is the kind that's in the pan, and then you hold it over the pan, and the aluminum foil bubbles up.
That's
as it
Jiffy
pops.
Pop.
That's Jiffy Pop is a brand of that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You put it over and you would hold it, and it will just your. I guess kids got fascinated, but you see a pan, and then you see the aluminum start going into a big bubble.
It always scared me to death. I was always scared of it. So always scared of it while it was popping.
Jiffy Pop is also the best to take camping.
Oh yeah, there you go.
And Anonymous said Sony had the last laugh with Blu-ray.
That is
true. Because for the longest time, the PlayStation 3 was the most popular way to do Blu-ray. It was either that or get a Blu-ray player that just did that.
There's a story behind that because there was a competition. Microsoft had what was it, HD disc. That's what you could. That all your games on the original Xbox were HD. Sony was Blu-ray, and that competition is similar to what happened to VCR, and Betamax. One wins out. Always one wins out. So Sony ends up winning the format war. So that meant at a certain point, Microsoft had to pay Sony every time they were making a game or hard copy because they had to put it on what? A Blu-ray. And who owns Blu-ray?
Sony. Matt Cave says, and the PS2 was the most popular DVD. I didn't even know the PS2 did DVDs. Wow.
Yeah.
I remember when the PS2 came out, and they were telling people originally that it was capable if the person or the company that was making the PC game was supposed to be able to play PC games. And no PC game ever came out that was compatible for a PS2. But that was one of the things I was like, oh, I got a PS2 and I'm all happy. And I said, oh, and if I want to play a PC game, I should be able to play it. No, never happened. But I was grateful when PS3 came out because my PS3, I had one of the rare ones that were backwards compatible, that I could play PS3, PS2, or PS1.
Yeah.
So
we had a PS3 in my family. It was not one of those, sadly, that was backwards compatible. And of course, I've had the PS4. I would like to get a PS5 at some point. I've had every Nintendo console since the 64, and I still think, though, my favorite console of all time is the Xbox 360, as far as just pure ease of use.
A lot of people would agree with you. A lot of big Xbox 360ers still out there.
Yeah. HD DVD, Matt Cave says, was a much easier format. All the distributors had to change over their factory's equipment to switch to Blu-ray. They could have used what they had for HD DVD. And Anonymous says, my DVD players were always Philips because they would play almost every file format, especially DLVX.
DivX. I think
Never heard of that.
DivX. I think it's an
I think is one of the few companies that still exists. But growing up as a kid, there was Philips, Magnavox. I forget the other company that was real big, and they made all your entertainment equipment, TVs, VCRs, all that good stuff.
Yep.
But I think Philips is the only one that's still around today.
Well, now it's Philips Magnavox, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they merged.
they merged.
a long time ago.
So, but do you know what? Talking about all this stuff, Halloween and everything. This is the time where, okay, I'm one of them people. My Christmas list is already done. My Christmas shopping is practically. I'm 99.9% done. But for the latecomers, this is the time of year after Halloween when they go for the rush. We got to be out there. We got to get the stuff. And then they run into that wall when it comes to Black Friday. But I think nowadays more people shop for themselves on Black Friday. I don't think they do much Christmas shopping.
Well,
I'll be honest, I do.
Online's kind of ruined Black Friday, right? Because now we have Cyber Monday.
Yeah. I still never got a hold of that. Never figured that out. Cyber Monday.
Well, you got to consider a lot of these people are seeing videos and news stories of people getting trampled in the stores and the malls for a TV or a blender or something like that, and they're like, no, screw that, I'll just stay home and just shop from the comfort of my couch.
Yeah, I was going to say, do people even trample anymore? I mean, is there what is the big thing this year that people would run out, do you think, on Black Friday shopping? What would it be?
I can't think of anything.
Unless they want that big 40-inch smart television. That's the only thing I could think.
Because I'm with you, Paul. I watch the prices all year long and just look for a Prime Day or something. And it gets to the point now where it's the same discount. I
don't know if it's just me, but Black Friday and then some of the sales before Christmas, they're cool. There's some stuff you can get some good deals. But if you wait till after the second week in January, you get more deals then than you do than this last 3 months of the year. By the second week in January, last year, I was buying a lot of electronics for myself, but I even bought some for other people. But I saved more money then than I did on Black Friday.
Here's a really heartbreaking one from Anonymous. Walmart's physical media section has dwindled to scraps. Actually, in my Walmart, which admittedly is a smaller Walmart than others, that's hard to argue with because everyone's going Walmart? Digital now.
Yours is a regular Walmart, right?
Yes, not the super center.
Yeah, mine's the same way. It's one of the few that's a regular Walmart, not a super center. So I know what you mean.
And it'll be very interesting. So Best Buy is now exiting the physical media sales, right? They've announced now that I think early 2024 they're not going to sell physical media like DVDs and that stuff. They're finished. So I'll be curious to see what happens. Does that mean Walmart and Target pick up the slack? Does it mean no one picks up the slack, or
My gut instinct tells me that no one picks up the slack, and now all of these secondhand stores start going. I think Amazon
and eBay, they'll be the ones that will pick up the slack. But as far as getting things new and sealed, I'm a new and sealed person. Like 2 months ago, I was procrastinating, but then I heard the rumors this was going to happen, and I went and bought the Hobbit trilogy on Blu-ray, the extended, not the theatrical release. And I'm glad I did, because if the Best Buy isn't carrying them anymore and everything, we ain't going to have it. And I'm sorry, I kind of have a bad taste when it comes to online, downloading. First of all, here's the problem. Take an example like a games, Steam. Most of the games on there, some of the old ones not, but most of the new ones, if you don't have internet access to your Steam, you can't access your game.
Yeah. The Epic Store is like that too.
And the same thing I can think about with unless you're downloading into a what they call external drive. If you want to access your movie, let's just say you got a computer, you want to get it on. Unfortunately, now you got to make sure you have a good internet connection. You know, if you don't have your internet, you don't have a movie. I like a physical copy. I have physical copies, and I'm thankful that I have them. You know, original Battlestar Galactica. They're on DVDs, but I'm glad I have them. You know.
Well, and I think the biggest issue, maybe the only issue with Best Buy's exiting the space is that a lot of the steelbooks, right? The steelbooks were often Best Buy exclusives. I kind of agree with you, Phil. I think it'll mostly move to online somehow, and steelbooks will be offered through other online channels. You know, but that was sort of, I think, the big deal I heard people talking about is where am I gonna buy my steelbook, right? If you're into that, if you're into that kind of thing. So,
I mean, think it this way: we're in a generation where, and I'm sorry, I exclude you, Paul, because you're a little bit younger. Comic book stores, things of the past. Bookstores, things of the past. You know, when I was a kid, I want to go to a toy store. We had the mall. You went to KB. All right.
Yes.
Now, the KB was not big, but it was big enough, and it had toys. Or you went to the place Toys R Us. All right. Walmart and Target, if you want to throw them in the lot. If you notice over the years, toys section has gotten smaller and smaller.
Yes.
Smaller. I think my Walmart has 4 aisles of toys. And that's if you count the bicycles down there too. So, you know, I don't want to say things changed in time, but do kids actually play with toys anymore?
They don't. They're on their phones, their iPads and such. Real quick, I do want to jump in, though, and say hello to Daryl. Daryl knew, by the way. He was one of the first to know what I was going to do. I know I switched shirts, Daryl, but I have to do this for you.
Just remember, everyone, we are and you are Rissman Base Network.
I'm glad you got it right, because Matt is the man behind the show. He is the Ted Turner of YouTube.
And hello to Jace from 540 Studio. Thanks for joining in, bud. Anonymous says, I just bought Smallville on Blu-ray and ripped them all to my server.
I like Smallville.
I'd heard of it, but never bothered to sit down and watch it.
Shame on you.
I know.
Shame on you.
I know, but like I said,
do you know how big your list of not seeing good stuff is? Do you know how big your list
is? It seems to grow every time I see him. It's bigger and bigger.
It will be. It's my patriotic duty that before the end of 2024, I'm going to have Paul watch Porky's.
Oh,
I am going, and I think it would be a good experience for Paul to experience Porky's, not just Porky's 1, Porky's 2, Porky's 3. I will introduce
one is enough, Phil.
Oh no, you gotta meet Miss Ballbreaker.
Wait, she's not in the first one?
No, Miss Ballbreaker's not in the first one. I think she's a little bit in the second, but third is where she shines. You know,
interesting. Well, we will see what happens with that one. All I know,
Caddyshack.
All I know, if you did, and I regret it. In fact, let's. I don't think Matt has seen this. I don't think Matt has seen my reaction to it. This is what happened immediately after I finished watching Caddyshack 2, Matt, because I am angry, and I'm angry with this gentleman right here because he tricked me into watching a terrible movie.
I tried to warn you. I tried to help you.
We told you.
You notice the difference? Yeah. That Paul was a little bit, he looked a little healthier, a little brighter, a little shiner. Hair was a little shorter. He had the Matt Risman shine. And now we got the after effect of watching.
Yeah.
He's never been the same since.
Although funny story with watching Caddyshack 2, Matt, Crit was the one that was hosting the watch party, and he was struggling so hard to get through that movie that he started fast forwarding through it and be like, "No, I can't watch it anymore." And as terrible as a movie might be, I at least want to see all of it uninterrupted. But me and Crit have talked about that before.
I think Matt would agree with me. You can't take people's word on what's a good movie and a bad movie. You have to watch it yourself.
You do?
You have to watch it
Of course.
yourself.
You do.
You know, if you go through life going by, well, Paul, going to, I don't know, Disney World is great. You can't just take my word for it. You have to one day go there and experience it yourself. So regardless if it's a good movie or a bad movie, you have to experience yourself. So you can make that call.
Except
But
for
it
Star
is a
Trek
bad
5.
movie.
No one should have to experience Star Trek 5.
Yes, you should, because that is an overhated movie.
Fair enough.
Yes. So, guys, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and end this stream. We've gone about an hour.
Where's
but
my
then
candy?
Where's my Buster Bar? You showed up with no Buster Bar.
Wait a minute.
Do I still have the picture? Where is it?
What-
Crap, I got rid of the Buster Bar pictures.
Do you know what happened to your Buster Bar? Paul ate it. Paul got the Buster Bar. He ate it. Not once, not twice, but 3 times he has shown himself eating Buster Bars.
I know.
I showed him too. Every time I get a Buster Bar, he knows too.
Yeah. I think you put it on Twitter, didn't you? Or somewhere you tagged me, and I was like, it's like
I
that bastard's eating a Buster Bar.
You know what the sad thing is? I am literally right across the street from a Dairy Queen.
I know. Phil.
And I can go there, I can go there right now in 2 minutes and go there and get something. But for the last, I would say, week or so, every time I go there and ask for Buster Bars, sold out.
Really?
Sold out. So, yeah, Buster Bars are very popular.
Well, the peanut buster parfait will do the trick, but it's not the same.
I like the new one, the what do they call it? The Blizzard, the pumpkin spice Blizzard. Yeah.
I don't do pumpkin much.
You don't like really? Matt Risman doesn't like pumpkins?
Not much.
I can understand as far as pumpkin spice latte goes. That is the single most overrated beverage in the world. But pumpkin pie, I still love that.
I don't like the consistency. There's something about the consistency of pumpkin pie. Mm-mm.
Will you eat a sweet potato
Fair
pie?
enough.
Sweet potato pie, I will.
Okay. To me, they're very similar, but the consistency is what's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Paul, me and Matt Risman get along because you know why?
Why?
Because I am not a founding member of the Phantom Hooligans, but I am a current member.
Fair enough. And hello to Pacific 414. Thanks for joining, man. But like I said, we are going to go ahead and end the stream here, but we're immediately going to start a new stream of Paul's bedtime stories where I'm going to get into chapter 3 of Splinter of the Minds.
Oh, wonderful. You all have a great time with that.
Thank you.
There's still no candy.
No candy, Phil. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Hey, it's trick or treat, Phil, and you fell for the trick.
I want my treat.
You have to go over to that Dairy Queen. Get those 2 minutes.
Exactly. Wait, hold on. I already gave you the treat. I sent you Mr. Pibb and Mellow Yellow. You got your treats.
You're going to call them treats? They're not candy.
It's something you don't get every day. That counts as a treat.
No. That ain't how that works. When someone comes and asks for Halloween candy, you give them a trick or a treat.
All right.
I'll take a trick. Perform a trick for me.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to toss my hat onto my head.
Now,
Oh, boy.
I just want to say, I don't have any. Give them a potato. Yes. You get a potato.
No.
Thank you, Virginia.
Well done. Well done.
So
Actually-
we made Matt Risman suffer. It's bad enough he has to deal with Coach, he has to deal with Nick, and not talking about them crazy people that are in the chat. But now he has to come over here, and he thought he was just have relaxing, time with Paul, but he had to deal with me. Bill
I know,
McCarthy.
right? I expected it. I expected it.
You had an inkling this was going to happen. That's okay.
Indeed, indeed.
And do me one small favor before we go, Matt. Please
Yes.
send my love to Coach and Nick.
Of
You know,
course.
I haven't seen them guys in a while. I haven't been feeling good. I haven't been able to go in the chat. But tell them I do try to catch replays as much as I can. So it isn't like I am not watching or hearing things. It's just I can't be there when they're live.
We miss you. I'll sure let them know and find those. He's putting them all in the playlist now. So find the live streams in the playlist because he's done listing them after the streams are over.
I will.
All right. Well, with that, guys, we are going to go ahead and call it. So thank you again to Phil and Matt for being on the panel. And Coach, I know you saw the stream earlier. I'm sorry if I made you accidentally sound like Hank Hill.
Oh, no.
Where's the propane, Bobby?
Bobby, get your purse. We're getting the hell out of here.
That's great.
But we are going to go ahead and shut it down for the night. So, like I said, thank you to the guests for being here. And for you guys watching, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Matt Cave says,
"Dang it, Bobby."
And just remember, everyone, the Force is family. And we will see you guys. Tell you what, we're gonna do the Release McCracken intro as our outro.
Why?
So we'll see you guys
Why
later.
don't you do Echo Bass?
I don't have Echo Bass. We're doing yours. There were your Buster bars, Phil.
I won't waffle out.